Hello everyone, this is Chrism, and I'd like to welcome you to another conversation about your Kundalini awakening experience or process. This conversation I would like to discuss with you the idea of Kundalini teachers. Nobody teaches Kundalini in precisely the same way unless you're affiliated with a belief system or a level of religion that covers some of these areas in certain ways. All faiths will have a level of covering some of this information in certain ways. I come at it from a fairly respectful for all forms of spirituality or religion perspective, and yet I step outside of that perspective as well. Some teachers will not be able to step outside of that perspective. Some teachers are based in that perspective, and that is the perspective that they're going to relate to you with. And so you may have to become that Hindu. You may have to become that Sufi. You may have to become that mystical Christian. You may have to, and this may be a good way for you to approach it. I just found that for me, it wasn't, none of the ways that I just mentioned were an appropriate way for me. So my instruction basically came directly from the Kundalini. Now you can find teachers who have had Kundalini and who can teach you what they experienced from the perspective that they had. But you need to know that that is not necessarily going to be your perspective. Sometimes it will be. If you have Kriyas, then yes, it will. You know, some of the major, really dramatic phenomena, Kriyas, entities, temperature shifts, out-of-body experiences, visions, all of these things have a fairly dramatic effect on the body. And then if a teacher has had these things, well, they'll be able to instruct you on how you can have a greater digestion of those experiences. Okay? So you will want to find a teacher that suits your level of spiritual comfort. If it's any of the aforementioned scenarios, then pick that teacher. If it's a teacher that comes at it, say, well, yeah, I can speak for myself. I come at it, the way I see it is that all roads, all religious, all belief systems lead eventually to Kundalini. All of those roads will take you eventually to the Kundalini. I come at it from a perspective that is outside of all those roads because I'm not. I see the connections with all of these different belief systems. So I come at it from, okay, you know, I see the strings or the threads in the weave, and I step outside of the weave and I go, okay, you know, with Christianity you can experience this, with Hinduism you can experience this, with, you know, all of the different Buddhism and Sufism and Islamists, all of these different experiences, the shamanic experiences, add up to a certain perspective about a certain phenomena or a group of phenomena that are associated with Kundalini. Okay, I take it from that perspective. Other teachers, you know, they will take it from their own perspective. And so all I'm really saying here is that I am not tied to a belief system. My only real belief system is the Kundalini. And I will suggest that when you have the Kundalini come upon you, that will become your belief system. The Kundalini will use your religious upbringing, your religious understandings as a way of teaching you, i.e., the sacred feminine may come to you as the Shakti Kundalini or the Mother Mary, or you know, any of the many forms of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine. Okay, so when you're looking at a Kundalini teacher, realize first and foremost, the teacher is the Kundalini, and it always has been. I don't care what venue of expression you choose. The teacher is always the Kundalini, and it always has been. And the Kundalini is what directs you to those human flesh teachers that you partake of. Okay? So I want you to understand that the power is within you. The information is within you. Your Kundalini understands that there may be some very positive attributes to a flesh teacher that only a flesh teacher speaking to your ego consciousness self can really help to get that ego consciousness self in balance with certain phenomena that the Kundalini is bringing. So she directs you to that flesh teacher. And you would be well instructed or well guided to take advantage of the teaching that Kundalini is offering from that flesh teacher. So just understand this and know this and take this in consideration when you're going through all the books about Kundalini, all the websites about Kundalini. I will suggest that you pay no one any money. You don't get to sell the divine. Okay, if somebody's charging you all kinds of money for a Shakti pot, I'll suggest you walk the other way. Doesn't mean that they can't charge you for their time to teach. That's a different thing. That's their time. Okay, but the sacred divine isn't up for sale. There is no price tag. That's one thing that I'd have you look at. If you find a teacher that definitely your Kundalini resonates with and wants you to do certain things such as devotion or any kind of energy transference, well then that's fine too. But just remember, the power is always at the base of your spine. You know, their Kundalini may come to you and give you certain attributes and help you through certain areas, but the power is always at the base of your spine, and it always has been. Some students come to me, and just by sitting next to me, they start getting pushed into a process that they're not ready for yet, or they're ready for it, but their ego consciousness isn't ready for it. And it pushes them into an area of agitation, anger, fear, whatever. It's typically a part of the process that the Kundalini in them, at the base of their spine, wants them to work on. But, you know, they're fighting, the ego within them is fighting to stay in control. And this can cause you some alarm. So I want you to realize that. You know, take a moment and ask yourself, is this teacher asking me to do something that I shouldn't do? Is this my ego saying I shouldn't do this? Is this going to harm me? Is this going to harm others? What's going on with this? Take a moment, question yourself. Question your Kundalini. Ask the Kundalini within you. Kundalini within me. Is this what I need to do right now? Is this something I need to do? Do that query. Ask that question. And from there, follow the intuitive answer that you're given. Make sure that answer isn't based in fear or your ego. I know, it's a tall, tall order. But you'll feel it. You'll feel the truth of the situation. You'll feel the truth of that teacher. And remember, the teacher is always the Kundalini. And it always has been. Thanks for watching.